So for Horizon Europe, there is a very large piece of documentation online. It is many hundreds of pages long, called very usefully A New Horizon for Europe, where you will find amongst its many pages the wording that is being presented to sort of outline the way that the European Commission now wants to support dissemination and exploitation of research going forward. If you have a look at page 92, the link is there at the bottom. I will, of course, you'll be able to have this in the slides themselves. Don't try and write it all down. Strong emphasis is going to be placed on portfolios of research results for targeted diffusion to end users, citizens, public administrators, academia, civil society organizations, industry, and policymakers. So not only does Horizon Europe and actually Horizon 2020, the previous effort, not only do they know that there has to be a broader set of people who become aware of this research outside of just the researchers themselves, they specify very exactly what these groups are. It really does go down to the general public as well. The general public's understanding of research and science and issues around those, such as public health, something that is at the forefront of everybody's mind in what seems like an unending cascade of news in that area, is a direct result actually of a misunderstanding of science or of a lack of understanding of research. Public education is actually part of this, not just producing good research and making sure that other researchers can leverage that into inventions and into the physical betterment and the emotional betterment of European Union citizens and citizens of the broader world. There are additional reporting requirements, and there are actually additional types of infrastructure that the European Commission has created. They go through some of this. I'll list some of this later on, but they are talking about trying to make the administrative burden of this part of the system a lot lighter on researchers, because the really important work of research is still going to be there. But they also want to see higher market uptake. That means commercializing inventions, commercializing research conclusions. And you'll notice once again in that final box down here, they are talking about not just the scientific community, but industry, policymakers, and the public. It is there every single time when they're talking about who needs to benefit from this, who needs to be aware of it, who needs to be able to access digestible chunks of this research. So promoting dissemination, still very important. They once again say, beyond the lifetime of the project, we need to be able to follow up and be able, in a year, in 2 years, check back at the interim interest. We need to go back in time, in other words, and go and see, since the last thing was published, how has our research sort of impacted the general public and policymakers and so on. So